On a fateful day in 1945, a decision was made that would echo through time, leaving an indelible mark on humanity. What was this secret operation that brought such unimaginable devastation? You'll find out as we explore 5 events that happened today in history. In 1945, during World War II, an American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, drops an atomic bomb codenamed Little Boy over the Japanese city of Hiroshima. It is the first ever use of a nuclear weapon in warfare, and it kills an estimated 70,000 people, most of them civilians. Another bomb, codenamed Fat Man, is dropped by the plane Boxcar 3 days later, producing similar destruction. Japan announces its surrender on August 15th, ending World War II. In 1890, at Auburn Prison in New York, the first execution by electrocution in history is carried out against William Kemmler, a convicted axe murderer. Execution by electrocution was first suggested 9 years earlier by a dentist named Dr. Alfred Southwick. He had witnessed a drunk, elderly man die after touching the terminals of an electric generator in New York. This sparked an idea, causing Southwick to believe that electricity could be a more humane, painless way to execute criminals. Keep in mind that most executions of the day were done by hanging. Sometimes it took as long as 30 minutes for the condemned to die by this method, especially if the person's neck did not break. In 1889, New York passed the Electrical Execution Law, allowing for the use of electrocution as a method of capital punishment. It is the first law of its kind in the world. Auburn Prison's electrician, Edwin R. Davis, was tasked with designing an electric chair for the prison. On August 6, 1890, axe murderer Kemmler is strapped into this new invention. The first attempt fails after 700 volts are delivered for 17 seconds. Kemmler is still alive, although some witnesses report smelling burning flesh. A second charge of 1030 volts is prepared and applied for 2 minutes. Smoke is observed coming from Kemmler's head, and the electrode attached to his back burns through to his spine. He is clearly deceased. Dr. Southwick proclaims, "We live in a higher civilization from this day on." Conversely, American inventor George Westinghouse, a pioneer in the use of electricity, remarks, "They would have done better with an axe." In 1926, on her second attempt, 19-year-old American Olympic gold medalist Gertrude Ederly becomes the first woman to swim the 21 miles across the English Channel, which separates Britain from the northeastern tip of France. It takes her 14 hours and 31 minutes. Ederly had won 3 swimming medals 2 years earlier in the 1924 Olympics in Paris. Gold in the 4x100 freestyle relay, and bronze in both the 100-meter freestyle and the 400-meter freestyle. In 2015, Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton, a hip-hop infused musical based on the life of American founding father Alexander Hamilton, opens on Broadway at the Richard Rodgers Theater 6 months after a sold-out off-Broadway debut. Miranda got the idea for the musical years before when he read American author Ron Chernow's biography of Alexander Hamilton. In fact, you can see an early version of what the 29-year-old Miranda was working on at the 2009 White House Poetry Jam. It's pretty entertaining. I'll include a link in the description. Miranda's musical becomes a sensation and wins a staggering 11 Tony Awards, the second most in history. The musical reintroduces the world to the life and importance of Alexander Hamilton. Interestingly, less than 2 months before Hamilton opens on Broadway, Treasury Secretary Jacob Lew had announced that the U.S. would, for the first time in its history, have a woman on its paper currency. That woman would replace Alexander Hamilton on the $10 bill by the year 2020. After the success of the musical and the renewed popularity of the original Treasury Secretary, The government changes course in 2016 and decides to leave Hamilton on the 10. Instead, the Treasury Department announces a plan to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. That change is now expected to happen in the year 2030, and the woman whose face is slated to be on the redesigned $20 bill is Harriet Tubman. In 2023, Britain's government announces that people who have been wrongly convicted of a crime and have been released from prison will no longer have to pay living expenses for their time behind bars. The policy change is motivated by public outrage over the case of Andrew Malkinson, who spent 17 years in prison for a crime he did not commit, and then was told that he had to pay back living costs. Which of these events did you find most interesting? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to check out Today in History in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. There's a link in the description. I would also love it if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. And you can see more great Mr. Lewis videos right over here. Thanks for watching.